Good evening, Bhante and all Kalyana Mitas. Happy New Moon Day and Happy Vesak Day to all our friends in Thailand, Singapore, Indonesia, and also to all that celebrating on this auspicious day. Sukipotu, I'm Aliana and welcome to Sutta Discussion Day 59 by Bhante Dr. Ganggo Dawila Chandima. Tonight's class is the 10th class of Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, and we are going to continue discussing the middle part about right mindfulness or sammāsati. Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta is the 5th sutta from the total of 10 sutta that have been chosen by Bhante Chandima for this sutta discussion. For those who have missed our previous classes, please check on Ti-Ratana Vihara Amampadana Klang's Facebook page and YouTube channel. We have uploaded the previous 58 classes there. The Sutta discussion Zoom class is always open. Therefore, whoever that wish to join the class via Zoom, where we can engage directly with Bhante, can contact us on Ti-Ratana Vihara Amampadana Klang's Facebook Messenger. We are always welcoming newcomers. Our speaker, Bhante Dr. Ganggo Dawila Chandima, currently is the Senior Advisor at Patisota Canada, a virtual Dharma organization that helps beginner as well as expert student in learning Dharma in variety of ways. Many people are interested in Dhamma Pariyesana, Patisota's most acclaimed interview series, which Bhante conduct on regular basis. You can check on Patisota with the link www.patisota.blogspot.com. Bhante Dr. Ganggo Dawila Chandima earned his PhD in Buddhist Studies in 2015 from University of Sri Jayawardenepura in Sri Lanka. From 2012 to 2015, Bhante served as Theravada Buddhist chaplain at the University of British Columbia, Vancouver, Canada. And in 2016, Bhante was a research fellow at the Center for Studies in Religion and Society of the University of Victoria, British Columbia, Canada. Without further ado, we welcome once again Bhante. Thank you very much for the wonderful talk. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Thank you, Aliana. Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to our weekly Sutta discussion series. Today marks day 59, like one day to 60th Sutta discussion day. In the series of Sutta discussions, we have been immensely looking at some of the very salient and very important aspects of Buddhism, not even the Noble Eightfold Path, but also, 38 blessings, also Sotapanna philosophy that we see in the Ratana Sutta, and then 15 skillful habits, and then 10 kusala. And then we studied about the most important responsibilities between different groups in the Sigalovada Sutta. So it's kind of a very multifaceted Sutta discussion series. Normally when Sutta discussions are being done, the only focus is about the Noble Eightfold Path, because I want you to understand that Buddha's teachings are focusing on secular, non-secular, transcendental, that means Nibbanic life. So both aspects. All right. So today we have Aliana is here with us, Sting and Lim, Kelvin, Tisi Lim, Nine Cheng, Sadis, Brother Wu, Jacqueline, Lim Sok, I don't know whether I pronounced properly, Chan, and B. Hema might be joining. And we got two notifications from Sita and Kim about their inability to join today, but they might be watching later. Let's get started by paying respect to Sadhu.
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 Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma Sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Today, our topic is not going to be mindfulness, but going to be right mindfulness. Mindfulness is everywhere, but right mindfulness is hardly anywhere. You get me? Mindfulness is everywhere, but right mindfulness, sammāsati, is hardly anywhere. That means we have a difference about these two. So the minimalist approach to this subject is that mindfulness is everywhere. If you look at, I'm sorry to start this way, law enforcement, they are watching the criminals, they are watching terrorist activities, they are putting their surveillance, they are watching over, they observe people's behaviors, responses, their, underlying actions. So they have this watchful, what you call mindfulness. If you look at a dictionary of how mindfulness is defined, the practice of being aware of your body, mind, and feelings in the present moment, thought to create a feeling of calm. Now, even if you look at gangsters, drug dealers, criminals, they have their own mindfulness in doing the operations behind the scene. So how is Buddhism different from that mindfulness? Because Buddhist focus about mindfulness is very different. Buddhist focus on mindfulness is towards samma. That is the samma, S-A-M-M, long name, samma. That is why there is miccha, wrong mindfulness. To us, whatever somebody does in order to be mindful about what's going on a certain subject, I would say law enforcement, criminals, espionage, spying services, all that, even animals. Animals, they chasing after other animals to eat or prey on them. So they are kind of, to us, in this situation, could be wrong mindfulness, but it is mindfulness, it's wrong mindfulness, miccha. So sammāsati means that you have the same mindfulness in different ways for being wholesome, and then your focus is on something more than that, non-judgmental point of view. So the Western mindset about mindfulness is just watching one's, what you call, body, mind, feelings in the present moment. That is the Western mindfulness. But we don't have just mindfulness. We don't have mere mindfulness. We have right mind, sammāsati, not sati. Okay, I think that's a good way of looking at it. All right, so this is, I think, probably the most fascinating subject to many people, isn't it? Mindfulness. There are mindfulness retreats, mindfulness camps, mindfulness programs. There are many. You don't see there are sammāditti programs. You don't see sammā-vāyama programs, retreats. You don't see sammā-vāca retreats. But there are sammāsati, not sammāsati, just sati, mindfulness retreats. So it looks like this is very probably the most important, one of the subjects to many people. I'm not talking from the Buddhist point of view, just how people practice it. So today we are going to look at what right mindfulness means, not mindfulness, what right mindfulness. So those of them, your friends who want to talk about mindfulness, say, oh, this is right mind, not mindful. Right mind, talk about right mind. Sammāsati, not sati. Because it differentiates us from the wrong mindfulness. All right. So let's go back to our text. I would say the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta's text, just to see where we are now. Right, so we are almost at the end of the, what do you call, this part, Majjhima Patipada. Now we are almost over here. Sammāsati 2021. That means we are going to finish Majjhima Patipada topic by next week, and then we can start off the Four Noble Truths. Actually, this is the fourth truth, but we have a what do you call, descriptive, I would say elaborations under the Four Noble Truths of each Noble Truth over here. What is dukkha, what is dukkha samudaya, and all that. See, again, we find the samavāca, kammanta, jiva, and all that. So we can actually skip that part because we already learned by that time. All right. So sammāsati, right mindfulness. In order to talk about right mindfulness, let's go to Satipatthana Sutta. There are two Satipatthana Suttas. This is Majjhima Nikaya 10. And there's one other Satipatthana Sutta in the Digha Nikaya. It's a longer version. Doesn't matter. It's a translation. Oh, both are another translations. This one will show you. Okay. Before I go to the translation of Satipatthana Sutta, then somebody might ask, why do you choose Satipatthana Sutta for today's talk? Because there is Satipatthana, how to establish this right mindfulness, right? So in this sutta, Buddha clearly mentions this stock expression. Eka yeno ayang bhikkhave maggu sattanam visuddhiya soka paridevanam samatikkamaya dukkha domanasana attangamaya nyāyassa adhigamaya nibbanassa satchikiriyaya yadi tan chattaro satipatthana. Now, when we talk about the four, what do you call, right mindfulness has four aspects, four divisions. If you want to practice right mindfulness, you need to focus on these four aspects. Call them kāyanupassana. You can see here. Kāyanupassana. Then Vedananupassana. Then Chittanupassana. Then Dhammanupassana. But the interesting part here is that Buddha says this is the direct path to which Maggu Sattana Visuddhiya. Sattana means being. Visuddhiya means liberation. This is the direct path to the liberation of beings. Soka paridevana samatikkama. Soka means grief. Parideva means lamentation, like another state of your grief. So soka paridevana samatikkama. This is the only way you can overcome your grief and what do you call parideva, lamentation, grief and lamentation. Then this is the only path that you can dukkha domanasana attangamaya. What is attangama? Disappearance. For disappearing your dukkha domanasa. These are interesting words. Huh? In Pali, dukkha means, what does dukkha mean? Physical pain, or I would say dissatisfaction, physical pain. Domanasa means mental pain. Now, dukkha in the context of the Four Noble Truths, has a different meaning, dissatisfaction. But here, dukkha means physical pain, and domanasa means mental pain. So, for disappearing, this is the only path for disappearing the physical pain, dukkha, and mental pain,
Mental pain.
domanas. What is it? Sylvia is describing the 4 satipatthanas, which means the right mindfulness. Nyayasa adhigamaya. Adhigamaya means attainment. Attaining nyayasa. Nyayasa means the true way. True way. It's the truth. What is leading us to the truth means true way. Then satchikiriyaya. Satchikiriyaya means realization of Nibbana. This is the only path that will take us to the realization of the Nibbana. What is it? Yadidang ayan chattaro 4 satipatthanas. So you can see now, right mindfulness has 4 parts. And we have a stock expression here, and a very interesting one, which says that right mindfulness works as a negotiator in a situation of hostage. Right? It is always a supervisor, right? Because if you do not have right mindfulness, your kusala activity is going to be plagued, marred, I would say, infested with something else. It happens. If you ask somebody, okay, today you offered dana, what kind of thoughts that you were having at the moment of offering dana? Yeah, I was thinking this and that. You know, the quality of your thoughts, kusala or akusala thoughts, depend on how much rightfulness that you could put into the time of your activity, right? Because without right mindfulness, you won't be able to do anything. That's why in the Noble Eightfold Path it says there are 3 factors that are always necessary. They are not complementary. They are mandatory. They are mandatory factors. What are they? I'm checking your Dhamma knowledge so far. What are those supportive factors? There are 3.
Thoughts, words, and deeds.
Oh, really? This is the issue.
Right.
There are 3 factors in the Noble Eightfold Path that need to be present
Right view,
in
right
order
effort,
for us to practice. Yeah, Alina,
right
right
view,
view.
right effort, and right mindfulness.
Here they are. Sammāditti, sammā-vāyāma, sammāsati. Why they are no? Except right mindfulness, there are other 2. Why those 2 are important too? Because the starting point of our practice should be our attitude. Because without our right attitude, we can't do anything. Now, there are people who are claiming, my luck, I have no luck, no good karma, so I don't think I'm going to make anything in my life. My examinations, my prosperity, my married life, even my bachelor's life, single life, even my whatever life, my money, I don't have luck. But the problem is that probably that person may have a problem with the attitude. When you have the right attitude, good things will happen. Because the way you think, how you present yourself. That is why the Buddha said, learn from sammāditti. Sammāditti should be the first thing, right? If you want to really achieve your goals, then you should know how to market yourself, isn't it? What you do by your resume, CV, you have to market yourself. You have to show that I'm an impact. I have influence on certain things. In the same way, attitude. Start with the right attitude. In our Dhamma language, we call sammāditti, right view. Views are dangerous, right? Views are dangerous everywhere, right? Because many people view all views. But we should at least have a certain structure to focus on. This is the path. That is what we take as right. So right view is the starting point. And then once you have the right view, then you are able to sort out. This is wrong view, this is right view. This is wrong sankappa, this is right sankappa. This is wrong vacha, this is samma vacha. This is wrong kamanta, this is samma kamma. This is wrong ajiva, this is samma ajiva. This is wrong vayama. You know how to separate it up. You get that ability, you get that competence, skill. You've been very skilled at that point. Do you think a lot of people have this gear in their spiritual life? Are they able to separate out, filter out wrong part from the right part? Because many people do not think that right view is very important. Always bring right view to sort out your actions, speech, and then thoughts. That is the starting point. Wherever you go, whatever you do, that is very important. And then, yeah, Micha versus Sama. That difference will happen only when you have the right attitude, right view. And then once you know that, okay, I know this is good, this is bad, I would say this is wholesome, this is unwholesome. Then what do you need at that point? I need some energy, good energy, effort. Otherwise, I can't do it. Right? You may have to probably check with your lifestyle. You need a good amount of sleep. You need to eat. I would say probably even we don't talk that a lot in Buddhism, which might seem as materialistic. I mean, some healthy food, because if you're going to eat unhealthy food, you won't have some time to practice some Dhamma, right? If you get sick, right? And then you want to be with the right people, I would say Kalyana Mittas. You need some time too, right?
Yeah.
You don't need to mess up and then finish your life in a month of time, right? Just eating unhealthy junk stuff and then not sleeping and messing up, right? So that part also has to be maintained by yourself. Samma Vayama, and I said the other Friday, Samma Vayama has 4 parts. Let me check your knowledge once again, whether you got that right. What are the 4 parts of the Samma Vayama? Right effort, which we discussed last Friday. Prevention.
Elimination.
Elimination or removal.
Maintain.
Maintaining.
And
planting, right?
Deepen.
Deepening. Oh yes, we used an example from a garden. Now in a garden, we know there are bad plants, so we have to weed them, right? There are weeds, so we can actually get rid of them. That's what you call that's the second one. First one is that we are trying to make sure that my garden is not going to have bad plants. So you are preventing, probably you are going to make sure that you are making that happen. So none of the bad plants are going to grow. And then the second is that you already got some bad plants, so you know how to take them out, uproot them. Third is maintain. That means now you already have beautiful plants, vegetables, so you're going to maintain them. You can add some fertilizer, good fertilizer, probably some organic fertilizer, and then you're going to do other things. You're going to pour water, nursing stuff, right? And then finally, deepening in the sense of that you think that there are other ways that I want to introduce to my garden. You're looking for some pros who know how to do better nursing in a garden. So you are trying to bring a lot of good things to your garden. So there are 4 ways. How did we relate this to our kusala practice? Prevention. That means if you do not have akusala already, do not let them come to you. Make effort to make that number 1. Prevention. Removal part, elimination or removal part, if you already have akusala, try to remove or eliminate them as soon as you can. Try to make effort to make that happen. Now going to the good side. If you already have what you call kusala, kusala things, wholesome things, then you need to make effort to maintain them. Let's say you understand that you don't have a certain particular virtue quality that you notice somewhere, maybe you understand by yourself, then you try to create that within you. So try to make effort to create that change, make that change within you. Isn't it interesting? Huh? This is Samma Vayama. It's a process. Now, when you have the Samma Vayama, then what is the immediate assistant to stay into your practice? You have now Sammāsati, you have Samma Vayama. Now, what else do you need exactly to continue your practice? Then you have the competence skill to understand Sankappa, Vacha, Kammanta, Ajiva, Vayama. Now, what do you need? You need to understand, where do I need to practice this? How do I need to practice? What is the helper for this? It is right mind. Because let's say you have the power, you have energy, you have effort, you know what it is, but you're not giving enough attention. You're not giving right mindfulness onto that, so you won't be able to practice it. That's why the Buddha said, whenever the situations arise within you, from inside or from outside, in terms of your practice, through right view and right effort, then you are going to use your kaya practice, that means your body, your feelings, your mind, and your Dhamma categories to continue your practice. You're going to use all that, right? Today, it's going to be a wonderful discussion about that. But I'm not going to teach this whole Ti-Ratana Sutta. I don't think it is necessary. But what I'm going to do is that I'm going to give you some highlights, very important facets, aspects of this practice. So you know that how you can practice, probably how you can even understand the theory and then go to the practice. All right. So any questions so far? Any questions about the introduction at this point? Okay, not yet. Now we are going to discuss something very interesting. Let's go to the sutta. Now you could see Katame Chattaro Ida Bhikkave Bhikkhu Kaye Kayanupasati. This is very simple. Now we come to these words. These are very interesting words. These Atapi, Sampajano, 1, 2, Satima 3, Vinaya Loki Abhijja 4. These 4 words are very important in the practice of 4 aspects of Satipatthana: Kayanupassana, Vedana, Chitta, Dhamma. Because here see, Kaye Kayanupasse Viharati, these 4 words. Vedanas Vedananupasse Viharati, these 4 words. Chitte Chittanupasse Viharati, these 4 words. Dhamme Dhammanupasse Viharati, these 4 words are. Now we're going to find out what they are. I think you got this slide already. Let's go there. All right. These are them. So I normally break them into 2 parts: definition and refrain of the Satipatthana Sutta. Let me tell you how I look at it. I take this as the samatha level. I take the second part as the vipassana level. All right. Now, if you take one of these, Kayanupassana has almost how many practices? Some folks. How many practices do we have under the Kayanupassana? Can anybody remember?
The 32 body parts, something.
No. That is only one of the exercise. Now, under Kayanupassana, there are exercises. And there are exercises in the Kayanupassana. There are exercises under the Vedananupassana. There are exercises under the Chittanupassana. There are exercises under the Dhammanupassana. Kayanupassana has 14 exercises. Isn't it interesting?
You know, 1-4.
1-4. Now don't think that you have to do all these 14. That's unnecessary. When you know exercises, that means these are exercises to practice Kayanupassana. Number 1, Anapanasati. That's the first exercise. That is what even the Buddha, ascetic Siddhartha, used to become the fully enlightened. Then number two is, what is number two? Can anybody remember? Probably I can probably okay, because some people might want to know under the chat, so let me type that for you. It'll be easy for you then. Huh? Okay, Kayanupassana has 14 instances, so you can see now. Okay, we call the first one. This is number one under Kayanupassana, Anapanapappa. So that is one. That means meditation on breath is the first exercise. So how many should be left already? 30. Then you see the second one. Iriyapata. Iriyapata means 4 postures. What are the 4 postures? 4 postures?
Walking, sitting, standing, and lying down.
All right. So we will see how they work after this. And then third exercise under the Kayanupassana is Sampajanya-pabba. Sampajanya-pabba. Sampajanya-pabba means full awareness. Full awareness. Can you give me a rough idea about full awareness? Now we call this a mouse. This is mouse perception. We have a sanya for that. But do we say, okay, this has some plastic. Plastic is made of patavi and it has apu, it has tejo, it has some vayu, it has some vanna, rasa, gandha, oja. In Abhidhamma we call pure octet, eight pure octet elements. We don't look at that way. So sampajanya means that clear comprehension. But here the Buddha says sampajanya means in whatever your activity, daily activity. For example, let me tell you. Abhikkante patikkante. If you go forward, if you return. If you look ahead, if you look away. If you flex your limbs or extend your limbs, stretch out. If you eat, while you eat, while drinking, consuming food, tasting, even you go to washroom, walking, standing, sitting, falling asleep, walking, waking up, talking, even while you are silent because of a reason. You understand that what you are doing. There's a particular statement for that, an interesting statement. Yata yatava panasakayo panahito hoti tata tatanam pajana. He understands accordingly, however, all the actions are happening. Sampajana. We will discuss that a little bit later. Right? Then we have Patikkula Manasikara Bhava. What does it mean? This is what Aliana said. 32 body parts. A bit anatomical. Huh? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, 32 body parts. This is also one of the exercises. And then, now how many we have discussed? We have named already. Anapana 1, 2, 3, 4. There should be another 10. We have Dhatu Manasikara. Dhatu Manasikara elements. What are the elements? Elements are Patavi, Apo, Tejo, Vayu.
Earth, fire, water,
That means,
and air.
Sorry?
Earth, fire, elements.
Yeah. Earth, water, fire, air. Now, what is Dhatu Manasikara? When you look at anything, when you look at any person, you look at through the 4 elements. Now, this person is made of patavi, hard things. And he or she has, or probably things have some watery elements too. There's fire, there's air. So Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta. It's not the time to discuss everything like in very much detail, but just to give a sense. Now we already discussed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then there should be then 9. What are the 9? Navasivatika. What is Navasivatika? 9 changes in a dead body.
Oh.
Now, this was actually being used by some people at that time, because at that time, how did people cremate dead bodies? Any idea, some folks? During the time of the Buddha? They were just left in cemeteries. There are no coffins. There were no coffins. That they didn't have proper cremations, right? So people could see the changes, the swollen body and all that, So there are 9 changes in a dead body. Now you see 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So there are 14 exercises that somebody can practice under Kayanupassana. But in my understanding, this has to be 6. Why is it? If you look at the dead body and its changes, it is one object. So this can be only 1. So it will be then 6. But anyways, because it has been given as 9, let's take it as 9. So then the overall exercises of the Kayanupassana. Kayanupassana means right mindfulness on the body, has 14 exercises. Now tell me, do you have to practice all these 14? Not
No.
necessarily. Not necessarily. We don't say we don't need it. Not necessarily. So are there any exercises that are very practical that you could do in your daily life over here? Anapanasati, yes, you could definitely do it once in a while, right? And then Iriyapata, you can do anytime, every time, even when you sit, when you walk, when you lie down, right? When you sit, you can do all this. Then Sampajanyapappu, yes, you could do that also at all time, because it's basically about your activities. Iriyapata means your postures, now activities. Patikkula manasikara pappa, dhatu manasikara pappa, navasivatika pappa, they are little bit of work. Don't worry. those carry some work. And I don't recommend you go into them right away. Maybe I'm not saying they are less important. What I'm saying is that maybe do not touch that part right away, because you don't need to get messed up, because you have to go further. You have a long journey, Vedana, Chitta, Dhamma, right? So maybe you're going to actually work on the Anapana, Iriyapata, Sampajana. That's more than important at this point. A lot of people, they're going to mess up by doing everything. Okay, the Buddha says, I need to look at a dead body. Their practice can go sometimes not, I would say, happy practice. They are painful practitioners. You don't need to be a painful practitioner. Be a happy practitioner, right? All right. Let's take a look at how these things were given a little bit in very brief forms. Let's go to Ti-Ratana and Sutta just a little bit. I think I'm going to show you the Pali one, because I like people to see some Pali rather than English translation. You can see that. Kayanupassana Pap. See here, we start. Now, this is the starting point. We discuss about this stock expression, Ekayanoyam Bhikkhave, and then the Buddha explains the four Satipatthanas by name: Kayanupassana, Vedananupassana, Chittanupassana, Dhammanupassana. Then go to these practices one by one. This is the Iriyapata, this is the what you call Sampajana, this is the particular 34 body part, This is what we call Dhatu Manasikara element. This is what we call by 9 changes of a dead body. That's it. And then we are going to Vedananupassana. Let's stop at there. Go back here again to understand those important words back again. What are those important words? These words. Atapi, Sampajano, Satima, Vinaya Loke, Avijja, Domanassa. Ata. That means in order for you to practice any type of right mindfulness, be that, I would say, Kayanupassana, Vedananupassana, Chittanupassana, and Dhammanupassana, you need these 4. First, Ata. Atapi means diligence. That means actually right effort. In our wording, this is right effort part. That means you should practice preventing, removing akusalas. And then maintaining, creating kusalas. Sampajano. Sampajano means clearly knowing, not just having the bare knowledge, clearly knowing. Satima.
Mindful.
What does it mean? Is this right mindfulness? Does it mean right mindfulness? Right mindfulness is the overall practice. Then this is Satima means
Mindful.
this non-judgmental nature of your mind. This is the basic bare mindfulness. This is very interesting. Free from covetousness and discontent. Abhijjado. This means you have to overcome lobha and dosa in our normal words. That means in our practice of right mindfulness, if you take any type of right mindfulness, it's about overcoming lobha and dosa, covetousness, and I would say lobha, dosa means greed and hatred. Now, is your practice going to work? Not adequate. Then you have to go to the vipassana path. When you practice any of these exercises, under Kayanupassana, Vedananupassana, Chittanupassana, Dhammanupassana, you must practice them through Ajjata Bahidda. Sorry, Ajjata, then Ajjata, then Bahidda, then Ajjata Bahidda. Samudaya, and then Vaya, then Samudaya Vaya. Satipacchapattita hoti yavadeva jnanamattaya patisati. Anisitocha viharati nachakinchi loki upadiyati context. Now let me tell you what is going to happen here. One of you is going to practice one of the exercises. So let's take one of the exercises over here. Which one would you like to pick? Let's take Anapanasati. Okay. So let's say you are going to practice Anapanasati. When you keep practicing Anapanasati, Anapanasati or any type of meditation, because you are only focusing on yourself, your breath and all that, what are some of the barriers that you can come up with? You will be struggling. That you meditate, you will have this mentality. I meditate, I've been meditating. So what could be slowly progressing, maybe developing without your knowledge while you are developing? Some kind of a sakkaya. It could happen. Especially some meditators, they have it. I've been meditating for this much of time. So Buddha knew this. The Buddha said, then ajjata means you practice by yourself looking at you. Then you should also look at how other people breathe, bahidda. So then you are minimizing, you are diminishing sakkaya ditti with your meditation practice. That is why the Buddha said, here, ajjata, internally, practice each exercise internally and also externally. Right? Now, somebody might ask, how does it work? Can I go and see how other people breathe? You're not going to do that. You are here, you are practicing, you are watching your breaths, and then you are visualizing people around you, they are also breathing, right? They can't live without breathing. So you just have a visualization about it. When you do that, you are minimizing any sakkaya ditthi that you may have with your meditation practice. Very interestingly, Buddha saw that. A lot of people don't know this idea. Why Buddha says Bahidapa? Bahidda means you should practice each exercise by looking at the object, now here Anapana, in others. Not even that. Then Samudaya Vayadam. What is Samudaya? Now in this case, Anapana, breath meditation. My breaths are arising and also they are passing, going away. Because in breath, out breath, right? Samudaya Vaya. And then both Samudaya Vaya. First arising, then going away, then both arising and going away. In the first place, it was practicing my breath meditation from myself, like everybody does, and then also practicing breath meditation by visualizing other people. Ajjata first, then Bahid the second, then Ajjata Bahid the both third. So let me tell you, Ajjata way, Bahid the way, Ajjata Bahid the way. Samudaya way, Vayadhamma way, Samudaya Vayadhamma way. Because this is Vipassana attitude. What many people do is that they only do it at the first place, at the Samatha level. Atapi, Sampajano, Satima, Vinaya Loke, Abhijja, Doma. That's it. No, you have to bring it to the second level, to Vipassana level over here. And then not even that. Sati Pachupattita Hoti, bare knowledge. Yamadeva Jnana Mattaya Patissati Mattaya. What does it mean? You have to keep your general mindfulness continuously.
Wait a minute, Bhante. You said that when you are doing the meditation, we also must watch the other person doing it.
Not that way. If you look at the exercises in the Satipatthana Sutta, Buddha clearly mentions that you should use it through others too, Bahidda. But we don't look at it from the metta meditation. If you practice,
but if you are meditation, you alone doing it, how do you visualize the other person? No other person in your room.
That is the thing. That is the issue. That is what I'm trying to explain to you.
Oh.
You are meditating. Let's say you practice breath meditation. What you are doing is that you are watching your breath.
Right.
You are not planning your breaths. You are just watching whatever the breaths arising, going away. It could be a short breath or long breath, maybe a mixture. When you keep doing this, you are progressing. It could be, depending on your competence of your spiritual life. But there may be chances that you might fall into some sakkaya ditthi. Because you are looking at yourself. Because we are not trying to hit on the enlightenment, full enlightenment, like the Buddha. So the Buddha said, at a certain point, this is not the only way. While you practicing here breath meditation, you could also visualize. You are not looking at other people. You are visualizing. Other people also breathe. Right? They also live on the breath. That's it. Just to some extent. Not that you are going to focus on I know Anne, I know Brian also breathing, and Diana also breathing, Anne also breathing. Not that way. I'm breathing. I'm watching my breath. So also the other people, they are also breathing. I'm looking at that phenomenon, that situation too. So then I understand that I should not just think about, okay, my spiritual journey only should be developed. That kind of a sakkaya ditthi, you know. So sakkaya ditthi can be developed in good way and bad way. Now we only talk about the bad way, people who are very greedy, who are only working on themselves. But even in our practice of meditation can come up. That is how we're going to do. Not being with other people. You are visualizing other people's nature of their
But when we visualize, that means you are not being mindful of your own thing, isn't it? Really, isn't it? You really
No.
pay attention to some other thing.
Interesting question. Brother Boo,
Hmm.
when you practice any exercises from the Satipatthana Sutta, your object is one,
Yes.
but
Okay.
you have to use many ways to practice that object. One object, breathing is the object, but there are many ways to practice it. Like there are steps that you have to follow. The first step is you do by yourself for yourself, and then you visualize other people, and you also look at your breaths are anicca, samudaya vaya, and also you have to give more what you call mindfulness to keep in that object. And we're gonna discuss the rest now. But even that, we have to think, I am independent from the breath. Breath is not me.
Yeah.
Because we say, my breath is not me. Posture is not me. My activities are not, I'm saying, I am stretching. It's not me. I decondition that. I cut the condition. And then I'm eating. It's not me, it's just the body. That means anisthitocha viharati, you are independent. So at what time are you going to practice all this? At the same time. Now, Brother who said, no, we don't have time, we only focus on, no. At every practice of Satipatthana, you have to go through these four and these four. These four I take as Vipassana attitude. And these four are basically samatha, most.
The four is to be taken together, Bhante.
Yeah,
at the same time. At the same time.
At the same time, this has to work, right? Without clinging. Nacha kinchi loke upadhyate. You can't cling to anything. You can't cling to even your breath, even to yourself.
Yeah.
Right? Then how do we maintain? I mean myself, I meditate a lot, I did well. You can't keep that mentality too. You just use your object and come to this level of your understanding. We will discuss that in a little bit of details after.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Anapana. I don't think we have enough time to discuss the sutta one by one, so I will just go in brief now. So that's enough, I guess. Now I made a diagram like this just to tell you the purpose of Satipatthana, right mindfulness. Let's say you start with Anapanasati.
Yeah.
Breathing, bodily posture, Iriyapatha, clear knowledge, Sampajana, 32 body parts. Let's leave it out at the moment. Let's say you go into the Vedananupassana. What are we going to look at under the Vedananupassana? Is it emotion or the quality of the feeling? The quality of the feeling. How many feelings are there in Buddhism? There are three main feelings. Sukha, pleasant feeling, then dukkha, painful feeling, and then adukkha masukha, neutral feeling. But in the Satipatthana Sutta, it has been given as 6 type of feelings. Sukha, dukkha, masukha, they are multiplied by 2 things. Samisa and Niramisa, worldly and unworldly. Worldly people also have these 3. Unworldly mean even the Arahants also have the Pachaka Buddha also have the feelings. They are called Niramisa. So when you practice them too, then you are developing your right mindfulness to the next level. Then the mind. Why is it? Our mind is always functioning without our effort. Does our mind work at the time we sleep or during our sleep? Does our mind work during our sleep?
Yes.
How does it work? Now let's talk about some Abhidhamma a little bit. How does it work? Now you get into sleep. You think that you are not thinking. How does it work then? In Abhidhamma, there is a lesson called Chitta-viti. Cognitive, we call them, I would say, cognitive paths. That's not the right word, I guess. Chitta-viti means exactly, let me find out the proper word for that. Okay. Mind processes, or I would say, yeah, mind processes, right? So there are many mind processes. When you are up, then what happens? Your mind process goes to a certain number of moments. We have a certain number called 17 moments. Let's say you pick up an object, it has to go through 17 moments. Because that is, you take the object. Now, are you picking up objects while you are sleeping? Not necessarily. You are not. Maybe you might be picking up objects in a dream. Right? It could happen too. Abhidhamma says your basic functioning of the Chitta-viti is happening even while you are sleeping. With a dream or without a dream. Right? So here, the Buddha says, what are we going to do under Chitta-nupassana means we are looking at what is happening to our mind under 8 main areas within 16 structures. Now, for example, I would say it's not the time to talk all that, but I will give you a kind of a rough understanding about it. Maybe I can type in here. As I said, Vedana-nupassana has 6 practices. Sorry, we have 3. But the number can be 6. All right. I would say exercises. Huh? Exercises. Vedana-nupassana has 3 exercises. And then Chitta-nupassana has, we take it as 1 because it's the mind. Dhammacakkappavattana has only 1 exercise, but there are 16 ways the Buddha taught. Let's say Buddha says, when you know that your mind is with raga, then you understand your mind is with raga. How many of us understand that when our mind is with raga, that we do have raga at that point? Do we understand that? Or we just get carried away by that particular raga thought? Do we always look at it, or we just get carried away? We normally get carried away unless we have right mindfulness. Buddha says if we have right mindfulness, we know, okay, I am with raga thought. I have to either, if it is wholesome, I'm going to keep it. It's not going to be wholesome. If it is going to be raga, so I'm going to go away. And if it is vita raga, that means non-raga. So I know that this is not raga. How many of you can get away from any dosa thought? Do we know that we have dosa now when we are angry? Not many people know. They are trying to defend themselves. Okay, you did that, so I am angry. You understand my anger, you know.
Yeah.
They are trying to justify their anger. But the people who practice the path, Dhamma path, when they are angry, they know they are angry. It is said, I can't exactly remember the place, that when wise people are angry, their anger will diminish, like when you draw a line in the water. Will that line be there anymore when you just draw a line in the water? No. That anger is very quick. But it's dangerous too, right? It's anger. You don't know what you're going to do at that time. Anger is no good, right? Whatsoever. So when you angry, if you know that you are angry, you are a developed person in this practice. A lot of people, they don't know that they are angry. When you have metta, you know that you have metta. So in this way, there are 16 ways to practice the mind. But we take this practice as only one exercise, one object is the mind. Now, how many exercises we have been discussing? Kayanupassana has 14. Vedananupassana has 3. Chittanupassana has 1. How many altogether? 14, 17, 18. Then now we come to the Dhammanupassana part. Okay. Dhammanupassana part. What is Dhammanupassana? What is Dhammanupassana here? Mental objects. How many exercises are there? 5. I could write them like this way. Much easier for all of you to understand. Nivarana, hindrances, 5 hindrances. Khandhas, 5 aspects. Ayatanas, sense spheres. Bojjhangas, 7 bojjhangas. Ariya Satyas, 4 noble truths. So 5 exercises. Now how many altogether? Kayanupassana has 14. Vedananupassana 3, 17. Chittanupassana has 1, 18. Dhammanupassana has 5, 23 altogether. Now, let's go back to give you a kind of a, I would say, kind of a concluding thought about these 4. Thereby you will understand a sense of what they mean. So do not think that I'm trying to explain the whole Satipatthana Sutta this way. I really want you to understand what is right mindfulness in a brief way. All right. See, this is how this is progressing. Let me ask you, why did the Buddha mention that we have to start our right mindfulness practice from the Anapana, breath meditation? Anybody wants to give your thoughts? Why? There's a reason. Why do we have to start our right mind Satipatthana practice with the breath meditation? Why can't we do other ones? Let's say I can focus on my mind. I can do Dhammanupassana. Why do we have to start with that one? Breath meditation, Anapana. Let me give you a hint. What can normally happen to you when you are struggling with akusalas within yourself? Let's say you are very greedy, you are angry, you are etc. etc. What is normally happening with it? Changes. Isn't it? Changes happen, right? What changes happen within you? Changes regarding your
breath.
Oh, you got it. You got that. Changes regarding your breath. Let me give you an example. Okay, you can give an example too. Let's say you are angry. What's happening to you? You are breathing a little harder. You are puffing. You may be puffing. You are stuttering. You can't talk. Your voice of change is going to be changed. Then how can you notice things are happening? Changes to your breath, right? There are always changes happening to your breath. Then why you are looking at your different types of breaths? To understand that. The Buddha says, the overall idea to me is that the more you refine your breath, the calmer you are. All right? The more you refine your breath, the calmer you are. That is the interesting part here. Why is it? If you understand your breath, nature of your breath, you can calm it, definitely. When you calm your breath, you are calm. That is why the Buddha said, start your Satipatthana, right mindfulness practice with breath. Isn't it interesting? Because now, for example, let's say you get into breath meditation now. So what you are doing is that you are calming down. What are you calming down? You say you are calming down yourself. Who is yourself? Your breath. You take it by your breath. When you calm your breath means you are calm. That means anybody who is angry, anybody who is doing a lot of akusalas, they have a very bad, unrefined breath system. The misinformation factory is open all the time. They are feeding misinformation. That is why the Buddha said you have to watch your breath, because that is how you can calm yourself fast. All right. Now let's keep going in looking at the rest of the things and how they work. Let's say you take anapana in that way. You're gonna refine your breath. You are going up iriyapata, your postures. You are always watching your postures, and you are always watching your daily activities: talking, eating, drinking, anything, everything, almost everything. Let's say you leave out these three, thinking that they are not essential at this point, but it is how it is. And then you are looking at your Vedanas, different types of Vedanas. When you are painful, you are painful. You understand? When you are happy, you are happy. When you are neutral, you are neutral. And going a step forward, you are looking at your mind. 16 changes of your mind. What changes? Lust. When your mind is affected by lust, you know that my mind is affected by lust. When your mind is affected by anger, hatred, you know that your mind is affected by anger. And the opposite. When your mind is what you call concentrated or unconcentrated, you know that my mind is concentrated now or unconcentrated. When you come to that point, now the beautiful things are going to happen. The beautiful things, wonderful things are going to happen. They are not going to happen up until here, and up until you come to the Dhammacakkappavattana. Why is it? When your body is calm, then you are able to look at your feelings very well. Otherwise, you can't. When you really look into your feelings, then you can really think about your mind. That means mind has to be thought of after the body and the feelings. That's the proper way. When your mind is under control, that means is very calm, then what happens? You are going to penetrate yourself, your life experiences with those beautiful Dhamma categories. Pancha-nivarana, Pancha-khandha, 6 ayatanas, 7 bojjhangas, and the Four Noble Truths. To me, these 5 under Dhammanupassana are nothing but 2, Pancha-nivarana and Satta bojjhangas, because all these are talking about the 5 nivaranas. What you call kama, chanda, vyapada, tirimitta, uddhacca, kucca, vicikicca, sensual lust and spiritual doubts, sloth and torpor, restlessness and remorse, and what else that we missed? Ill will. So if you work on overcoming these 5, then you are naturally going towards the 7 bojjhangas and then finally liberating yourself. With that in mind, we're going to the other one. Now you can see, this is how I'm going to show you. See, the breath is what is the focal point to all the other satipatthana, especially main satipatthana practices. See those 12. Now, this is just another way of calculating the numbers, but don't take that 23. 23 is the formal way. See, because you are refining your breath, you are easily able to practice all the other satipatthana. That means what is very important in our satipatthana practice is the breath. You must refine your breath. The more you refine your breath, the calmer you are. Because if you don't have the calmer perspective within you, you won't be able to look at your feelings, mind, and specifically the beautiful stuff, Dhamma categories. How do we take Dhamma categories? You have lots of life experiences, right? Changes in your life, career changes, people change, for the good and the bad. How do we understand them? Through Dhammanupassana. Why it happens? It is because they are just a part of these aggregates. They are just ayatans, right? Probably I experienced that because I did not calm my nivaranas. So you use Dhammanupassana into that. All right. So what I can say at this point, I would say as a summary is that sammāsati means not sati. So mindfulness, again, I want to reiterate, mindfulness is everywhere. But right mindfulness is hardly anywhere. And mindfulness is present everywhere because it's a movement by the West, Western mindfulness, but we have right mindfulness. Right mindfulness is focusing your, what you call, mindfulness towards these Dhamma areas, what you call these Satipatthānas. If you don't practice your mindfulness with these four, your mindfulness is going to be not right mindfulness, but wrong mindfulness. All right, any questions? Once again, I want to add something too. I think you all learned this slide. This is very important slide, the most important slide over here. These two aspects are relevant to all the exercises in the Satipatthana Sutta. Let me show you that a little bit. Let's go to the Vedananupassana. All right, Vedananupassana. See here, iti ajjattang va vedanasu vedananupassye viharati bahiddava virati. Ajjatta bahiddava samudaya dhammanupassīva vayadhammanupassīva atti vedanati panasasati paccupatthita hoti yavadeva jnanamattaya patissati mattaya anissitocha viharati. See, it applies to Vedananupassana. Then let's go to Chittanupassana at the end. See, iti ajjattang va chitte chittanupassana viharati bahiddava ajjatta bahiddava samudaya vayadhammanupassīva then panasayava deva jnanamattaya anissitocha. So it applies to Chittanupassana. Let's go to Dhammanupassana. After each section of the Dhammanupassana, I'll just take the Nivarana Pabba. You see? See, iti ajjattang va dhammesu dhammanupassye viharati bahiddava dhammesu dhamman ajjatta bahiddava samudaya dhammanu vayadhammanupassīva. Then finally yavadeva jnanamattaya pasmattaya anissitocha. This context is very important. A lot of people, they ignore this perspective. This is the vipassana part. Now I'm actually trying to distinguish the Burmese style. They say that the Vipassana movement was actually found out by the Burmese tradition in 12th century. In the Vipassana practice of the Myanmar tradition is interesting too, but this is the most interesting way of practicing Vipassana according to the suttas. The first part is about the samatha. The second part is about the vipassana. Right? That is how we're gonna look at it. Now here, once again, let me show you. Atapi sampajano satima vinaya. This is the preparing part for you to calm down. Right? So you are calm down at this point. You are diligent, you have right effort, you are clear knowing, you are mindful, and you are trying to free from lobha and dosa, they are higher words, apicca domanassa. Now you are calm down. At least you are calm down to sit. Now you are able to look at the object. Now here, maybe anapanasati, maybe your posture, maybe your other activities, maybe 32 body parts, maybe dead body, maybe vedana, maybe chitta, maybe dhamma. True ajjatta, yourself, by looking at yourself, bahiddha. looking at other people. So no sakkaya ditthi will be espoused. Arising, passing, bare knowledge, continuous mindfulness, independency, and without clinging. Vipassana part. That means Satipatthana Sutta covers both samatha and vipassana. All right, any questions?
Bhante, where does Anusati comes in under the four foundation?
What is it?
The Anusatis.
Anusatis.
Yes. Where does it come under this four foundation?
You mean Anusati, like Buddha Anusati, Dhamma Anusati,
Yes,
and so forth?
yes.
No,
yes.
they are not coming here. It is another teaching.
Another teaching.
Yeah, we call them recollection. There are 10 recollection.
But
Buddha
it's-
Anusati, recollection of the Buddha's virtue.
Yes.
Dhamma Anusati, recollection of the 6 Dhammas qualities.
Yes.
Sangha Anusati, recollection of the 9 Sanghas qualities. Devata Anusati, recollection of the Devas.
Yes.
Sangha, then Upasama.
Chaganusati.
Yes, Chaga Anusati, recollection of the generosity. So it is another teaching. You can't, well, it is not attached to Satipatthana actually,
It's
but,
not attached. Oh,
but it goes parallel to this practice. It's parallel. But Buddha did not understand them as Satipatthana. They are also important for some people to stay calm, probably attain Nibbana too. Never know. But when we say Satipatthana, these are the only things that we understand. We call them Anusati. Now, let me tell you the difference. Now, when you say Sati, this could be bare mindfulness. Huh? Then when you say sammāsati, this is what we want. Huh? We want this one all the time. Right mind. Now, the word that you mentioned, Anusati. What does it mean? Recollection. Okay, it is a different context. That means I would say that you are trying to stay mindful by reflecting on particular spiritual objects like the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha. Because we haven't heard that anybody, well, I mean, there are examples like Matta Kundali, in Matta Kundali's story, he was, what did he suffer? His father was a very, what do you call, greedy guy. He did not take care of his son. His son faced with anemia, right? So then what happened was that the Buddha helped him. Buddha came. Buddha probably showed himself. Buddha. And he saw the Buddha just by the mere appearance of the Buddha. He focused and then he died. He was dead and then he was reborn in a heaven. So that means Buddha Anusati is what caused him to be reborn in that particular place. We can't say he practiced Satipatthana. So what I can say is that Anusati practice goes parallel to the Satipatthana practice. So we cannot ignore it too. So let's focus more about Satipatthanas also by knowing that there are 10 Anusatis too for anybody to practice to stay calm and possibly to attain Nibbana too.
But like stated in Dhammapada 296, it says, those disciples of Gautama ever awakened, who constantly practice happily by day and by night, the recollection of the qualities of the Buddha.
Yes. Yes, but it is not taken as a I would say Satipatthana point. I would say Satipatthana is more focused on an unenlightened being who want to attain Nibbana. Now, recollections are more focused on somebody who already attained Nibbana. Like
Correct.
now the Gautama's disciples are definitely Arahants, taken that way. So they are definitely after attaining Nibbana, they have to recollect something. Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha. So in that context, maybe this is a higher teaching than Satipatthana, but Satipatthana Sutta is mainly for unenlightened beings who want to attain enlightenment.
But
Let's look at it.
the anusati is classified under the 40 meditation objects in Abhidhamma.
40 meditation objects come
yes.
under Visuddhima.
Yeah. Or the
It is, yes,
Visuddhimagga,
it
yeah.
is not Abhidhamma. It is.
Okay.
It was written by
Visuddhimagga,
the
yeah.
Buddhaghosa Thero. We don't find it in the canon, Nikayas. So he, in his work called Visuddhimagga, he said, if you want to practice Samatha Bhavana, you could use one of these
40
objects.
meditation.
Yes, meditation, Samatha meditations. Because Buddha did not teach us Samatha. Buddha taught us Vipassana. Because Samatha was already a pre-Buddhist practice. It was not by the Buddha. But Buddha said you cannot go to Vipassana without the Samatha. That one he said. But in order to give a better understanding, South Indian monk who came to Sri Lanka in the 5th century, I guess, exactly, Mahavihara monks asked him to write a thesis. So he wrote a thesis for Sutta, Vinaya, Abhidhamma, so Visuddhimagga. So I would understand this way. Anusati is a higher teaching for enlightened folks. Even we can do it in their daily life. Satipatthana is mainly for unenlightened Puthajjanas, like normal people who want to become enlightened, whatever the practice, starting from the breath.
Thank you, Bhante.
Okay. Any other questions? Looks like we have no more questions at this point. So you may come up with questions probably later. If you can send us, maybe you can ask next time too. Next Friday, we're going to discuss what do you call it? Sammāsati. That will be the last path factor, which is the culmination of the Noble Eightfold Path. I think Samadhi is the most important part because we don't say Sila Sati Samadhi. What do you call? We don't say Sila Sati Panya. We say Sila Samadhi Panya because Sati is a part of Samadhi actually. That is why we say Vayama Sati Samadhi comes under Samadhi part. The Sammaditi Samma Sankappa comes under Panya part. Samma Vacha, Samma Kammanta, Samma Ajiva falls under Sila part. Then Samma Vayama, Samma Sati, Samma Samadhi come under Samadhi part. Samadhi is very important because through Sati you come into the Samadhi, right? So we will be discussing Samadhi and then we're going to finish that Majjhima Patipada section here. So then we have a better understanding about it. We're going to finish this part until 25. So we can start the Four Noble Truths part separately after Friday, after next Friday. All right, so let's transfer all the good karmas now. May all the good karmas that we've been accumulating today in listening, discussing, engaging with sammāsati be transferred to all the departed people fasted in the name of all of us. If the departed people were reborn in a place of pain, may they be able to receive all these good karmas and then be able to reborn in places of happiness, comfort. If they are already in places of comfort, happiness, may they be able to improve, practice, apply Dhamma, and finally attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Idammi ñāti nang hutu sukita hutu ñātayo. Idammi ñāti nang hutu sukita hutu ñātayo. Idammi ñāti nang hutu sukita hutu ñātayo. May all the good karmas be shared by all the devas, nagas and mahikas, deities, snake kings, and other splendiferous, powerful non-humans. May devas, nagas, and mahikas be well and happy. May they protect and bless Reverend monks and all of you who could participate today, who couldn't participate today for different reasons, and all your family members, everybody in this whole year. May all you be blessed and protected by them for good health, quality of life, prosperity, and safety. May Deva Naga Mahitika also finally attain supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Ittavatac ammehi sambhatang punya sampadang sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ittavatac ammehi sambhatang punya sampadang sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ittavatac ammehi sambhatang punya sampadang sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Akasattha ca bummanta devanaga mahindika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkhantu loka sasanam. Akasattha ca bummanta devanaga mahindika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkhantu desanam. Akasattha ca bummanta devanaga mahindika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkhantu tvang paranti chirang rakkhantu tvang sadati. May we always be in the company of the Kalyana Mittas, noble friends, not be in the company of the Papa Mittas, bad friends, who may deviate us in the path of Nibbana. Thinking thus, we're going to make this wish too about Kalyana Mittas. Imina punya kamine mami bala samagamo satang samagamo yava nibbana pantiya. Finally, may all the good karmas which we've been accumulating today in all these ways be helpful, supportive to all of us to attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Abhivadana silis nichang vadha pachayino chattaro dhamma vadhanti ayuvanu balang ayurarogya sampatti sagga sampatti nivache ato nibbana sampatti iminati samidjati. Sadhu. And thank you to everyone for joining today, and we will be seeing you next Friday. And we have a sati poster behind Tisilima, Marana Sati. This is one of the Anusati.
Yes.
Marana Nusati. See. Yes. Well, Anusati.